When the sun is shining in England, what better place could you spend your leisure time than in Swanage by the sea? Nestled in the bay, the shoreline gives visitors and locals alike beautiful scenery, safe swimming, and the golden sands with children playing around the wooden groins. The first groins were constructed in 1926 to prevent the sand moving along the beach and out to sea. Equipment was very primitive in those days, and most of the work had to be done by hand. An oil and steam pile driver was used to hammer the first two sets of groins into the beach. The men were paid 2 and 6 per hour, but progress was held up due to the general strike that May. Over many years the groins deteriorated and needed to be replaced, so in October 2005 Swanage Beach coast protection work started. A lot of heavy, sophisticated machinery had to be used, and Shore Road was made into a one-way traffic system. This enabled the seaward side of the road to be used as working space for the contractors. A rock and sand ramp was built to get the equipment on and off the beach, and information boards were mounted for the public to understand what was happening with the beach works.
My name's Simon Everett and I work for Halcrow Group Limited, and I'm a coastal engineer, and I'm currently working here on the Swanage Beach Recharge Scheme on behalf of Purbeck District Council. The scheme comprises of two main elements. Firstly, the beach recharge, which is what you see here just behind us, and secondly, the timber groins.
The work began with a series of trial holes being dug to establish the clay level where the groins were to be planked. The green heart timbers were delivered by road and stacked on the shorefront before being lifted onto the beach and shaped to penetrate the sand and clay. Work started on the 17th of October from the end of Victoria Road and progressed north along the beach. The piles were shaped and had metal spikes fitted to penetrate the clay. The auger rig bored a hole 3 to 4 metres below the clay level and was retracted to receive the wooden pile into the hole. An air lance was pushed into the hole to agitate the sand, helping the pile drop down. Gradually the plant was moved north along the beach. A large steel template called a piling gate was fixed in position. This spaced the piles at an even distance to one another. Once again, the auger rig was manoeuvred into position to bore the next hole through the sand and into the clay. As the auger was retracted, the pile was instantly placed into the hole before it closed, then the pile was hammered down into the clay. An air hammer, which was connected to the compressor, was carefully lifted and placed over the end of the pile. This was then switched on, and the pile was hammered to the correct level. By December, the piles had been placed halfway up the beach heading northwards, but the old groins remained in the beach for the time being. Equipment was regularly checked, while the public took great interest and was well informed with everything that was going on. More trial holes were dug in the sand, and the work continued until Christmas, with the men working day and night.
The beach recharge, we're currently looking at placing approximately 90,000 metres cube of sand here on Swanage Beach, and that's being delivered to the beach by a dredger which you can see just offshore, connected to what we call a sinker pipeline. The sinker pipeline is sunk along the seabed and emerges just here behind me, where we've got a Y piece with two valves in, and that sends the material both northward and southward along the beach where it is displaced. The material comes from the swash channel being the Poole harbour entrance, which is being dredged for maintenance purposes presently, and an element of deepening, and hence we're it's a reuse of the material rather than being dumped at sea.
The pipes arrived by road and were unloaded onto the beach, ready to be assembled on site. The ropes used to tow the pipes from the sea onto the beach were carefully packed away. The sinker pipeline, located towards the centre of Ocean Bay, had a Y-shaped valve attached to the end of it, enabling the sand to be pumped both northwards and southwards. The dredger came into Swanage Bay from the Swash channel at the entrance to Poole harbour on the 25th of November 2005 and started pumping sand onto the beach. It continued for 3 weeks, starting at 7 in the morning to 9 in the evening each day. The gulls found plenty of fish and crustaceans in the sand pumped from the dredger. The dredger returned on a 3-hourly turnaround and took 45 minutes each time to discharge the sand. Gradually they worked along the beach, bringing even more food in for the birds.